And now, coming to you from the Pensado Media Center, powered by Westlake Pro.
More wisdom from Terrace Martin. He goes deeper. This week's winner of the iLoud Micro Monitor Sweepstakes, AES in Berlin, Imsta Festa in LA, and the third part of a smoking ITL. You're at the place. It's Pensado's place.
Hey everybody, thanks for dropping by. You just missed Herb's harmonica solo. It was pretty good, Herb.
It was better. Am I getting better?
John Popper would have been like
Blues
proud
Traveler.
of that. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's a reference. Good job. Shall we get to our business?
Yeah, let's do.
Hey everybody, it is absolutely great to see you. Likes and subscribes if you have a moment. It's much appreciated and it's very important.
Yes.
So thank you for that. Shout outs to our partners, the Blackbird Academy, Westlake Pro, Avid, Lander, DTS, Fab Factory, Recording Connection, and Studio 202 DC. A couple of notes for you. If you plan on attending AES in Berlin, take a moment, stop by the Blackbird Academy booth, which is booth number 400, and get an opportunity to find out why Dave and I and so many others rave about the school, the education, the placement service, the people. Remember, international accreditation, check mark. VA benefits, check mark. So this is an opportunity if you're overseas to go by and actually meet the folks who make this happen. We urge you to investigate.
I wish I was there.
We wish we were there too. You can see it behind us. Stop by, tell them Pensado sent you. Carmen and those guys will be there to see you. Also this Saturday, if you have a moment, if you're in LA or want to come to LA, Dave and I would like to invite you to our keynote discussion at Imsta Festa Los Angeles. It's noon at the SAE campus at 6700 Santa Monica Boulevard. The event is free to the public. There'll be a ton of other pros there. You can sign up at the URL you see right here. Don't delay, get there. It's a good chance to meet professionals, see what's going on the job side, get some information. If you are a Pensado student or want to be one, we specifically encourage you to attend. That's Imsta Festa, Saturday, May 13th. We go on at noon, get there early, and we'll see you there. We hope to see you there.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, David P., as I reach under the desk, pow! Who is this week's winner in the iLoud Micro Monitor Sweepstakes?
Daniel McFall.
Danny, let's give him a round of applause. Daniel,
Real happy.
good job.
And he gets both of them.
You get both of them, and you get, I don't know what they win this week, but we're also going to make sure Danny gets a cup. So make sure he gets a mug. A couple more weeks to enter and you can win. Be eligible for these prizes that you see right here. You can win a pair of these babies, or you can actually go hear them while they're on tour. There's dates that you'll see where you can go hear what they sound like. Really incredible. Do not delay. Go to ikmultimedia.com/Pensado and win. Yep. All right, Dave P., I'm going to put these,
I love those little guys,
these
man.
babies bang, as we say. So, you've had this ITL series. This is the third in the series?
Yeah, I think this is the last one. Well, this is the last one, right, Chunga?
Which one is this one?
Part 3 of Breaking Down Rap Vocals. So
cool.
It's a pretty cool one.
Let's run it.
Effects-wise,
Southern Alabama where my grandma.
this is just a parallel compressor. This is a slap. This is think of it as a harmonizer. This is a little bit of a plate reverb and a short delay. I was experimenting with this, didn't like it.
Southern Alabama where my grandma from. Some would call it home, some would call it a slum. And though we moved to California, switch up the slang, I'm just a.
Now, this parallel compression chain, all I'm doing is I'm using a couple of Waves plugins. Now, remember, this is being paralleled.
Southern Alabama where my grandma from. Some would call it home, some would call it a slum. And though we moved to California, switch up the slang, I'm just a California country boy at home on the range. Yeah. Southern Alabama where my grandma from. Some would call it home, some would call it a slum. And though we moved to California, switch up.
Now, you're telling me, Dave, I didn't see any meters moving. Well, they're moving later on in the song, but you can hear the AB right here.
Southern Alabama. Southern Alabama, where my grandma from. Some
Got me? Okay, cool. That helps keep the vocal in my face. I keep the dynamics from the original performance, but I squeeze the snot out of the parallel chain and tuck it up under it. It gives me a little more bottom end warmth and stuff. Slap. These are all pretty straight ahead things. So this is with everything.
Southern Alabama, where my grandma from. Some would call it home, some would call it a slum. And though we moved to California, switch up the slang. I'm just a California country boy at home on the rain. Yeah, California. Southern Alabama, where my grandma from.
Now we're adding a lot of gain, so don't let that trick you. But you can definitely feel the performance building as we add these things. Why am I doing this? Here we go.
Southern Alabama, where my grandma from. Some would call it home, some would call it a slum. And though we moved to California, switch up the slang. I'm just a California country boy at home on the rain. Yeah, California.
A lot of fun, huh? A lot of cool stuff. Now, these concepts will work on any vocal. So I spent a little time on this one because I want you to look at this particular example first, because it applies to rock, it applies to hip hop, country, blues, anything you want. And it also can apply, if you think about it, to some acoustic instrument performances. So the concept is that you're trying to analyze where the energy is, how the timing feels, all those sorts of things, and then you construct something that that's going to give you enhancements of those. I heard it in there, I just wasn't feeling it, and that was really bothering me.
Southern Alabama, where my grandma from. Some would call it home, some would call it a slum. And though we moved to California, switch up the slang. I'm just a California country boy at home on the rain. Yeah, California.
Okay, all right. Oh, one little thing. If these things don't come to you immediately, then you're no different than me. It took me a long time. We're talking like 3, 4, 5, 6 years to understand what I was trying to do with the vocal. I always just tried to make it sound good. I always put reverb on it because I always thought you were supposed to. And if I could get something like a plate, I thought, okay, it needs a plate. Okay, it needs this. Okay, I got to put a compressor on it. But I didn't really know why. And I probably ruined a lot of mixes. So don't automatically assume you need to put something on. I showed you, I'm using a lot of different things, and you don't need to use all these things. And if you don't have these exact things, use yours. You can do this a lot easier with just a couple of things. Just get a good compressor or even a bad compressor. Just use it till it sounds good. Get your EQs, use it till it sounds good. And the difference between you and me is not that I have more taste than you or better taste than you. It's just I can do it quicker. So a pro does it quicker, an amateur does it slower, but we do the same exact things, and we should be doing the same exact things. So don't assume that just because you're not earning a living doing this that you can't do it. You've got the taste. Nobody can take that away from you. You've had that all your life. It's just that the experience of for me, I've pulled up a lot of things that didn't work, and I remember what they did that I didn't like. But the next song, it might be something that I like. So I've got that experience. Experiences in doing this a lot is just, you can't do it enough. Okay, and don't always try to get it perfect with just one piece of outboard gear or one piece of plug-in. Take little chunks off, little bites off, and then you'll. I should have left all the things I tried to get to this. I probably tried 10 different plugins down here. I probably tried 3 or 4 different pieces of analog gear, outboard gear. I've got a lot of that, and I tried a lot of different effects, and this is what I felt gave me the best performance. You can do it. I know you can. All right.
God, part 2 of Terrace Martin. He does an incredible batter's box. imparts a whole lot more wisdom. We are a big fan of this guy.
Absolutely.
And you're going to be hearing a lot more from him. Enjoy part 2.
Tell me about Velvet Portraits, your new album.
Velvet Portraits was a strong passion project. I was at the end of To Pimp a Butterfly. My father's a drummer, and he lives in Omaha, Nebraska. He teaches. So at the end of that record, he had a pneumonia thing where he could stop breathing, and everybody thought he died. I remember the day, the record I was doing that day for To Pimp a Butterfly, when they called, his wife called and said, "Oh my God, your father's died. He's dead." You know, black folks,
Sure, right. Oh, yeah. No, it's drama.
Everybody's in the next room. I'm working.
Yeah.
The phone. What? And at that time, 2 days before that, me and Kamasi Washington's best friend, another saxophone player from the LA area named Zane Musa, had just committed suicide. So we had just dealt with that 2 days before. Right in the middle of us writing for the orc strings, all that. So then I'm on the phone like this, but like I said earlier, I know what I signed up for. I'm on somebody else's session. This is somebody else's dream. I'm here to fill in the color to somebody's canvas. I am an artist, and I have to make sure Kendrick is okay. No matter what I go through at home, it can't affect this process right here. Is he dead? He's not. He is. Okay, whatever it is, let me deal with it, and let me call you in a couple hours. Was I hurt? Terrified. When everybody left, cried like a baby. Sure. But I had a situation to do, a real thing that I felt spiritually was gonna change the world. And it did, and it's still doing it. So after that, the next day, he ended up not doing better, but I was like, man, I haven't had a chance to record with my father. I've been doing all record with this person, and record with this, and he's proud of me, he loves me, but record, and he's one of my favorite drummers in the world. Wow. Not because he's my father, because he doesn't drop time, he can play odd time, he can sight read, he understands over the bar line, he can play with brushes, he can play straight ahead, country western, so I'm giving you the stats why he's my favorite drummer.
Sure, right.
Not because he's my father.
Right.
Because we don't do that in my family neither.
Right.
Period.
I can tell.
So, Dad, you cool? Yeah, okay, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna fly out there. I found a studio, coincidentally, that's a whole nother story. I found a guy by the name of Rick Carson that owned a studio named Make Believe Studio in Omaha, Nebraska. And I'm very weird with tracking. I have to have certain things because I have my own things.
Right.
I like what I like, but I'm open.
Yeah.
But I've been following this dude online for like a year, Instagram. Where's his studio? And I saw him, I'm a fan of impedance, and I saw him put some impedance things on some APIs, and I was like, whoa, that's dope, because I love the Group 2 Vibe Pre. It was the mic pre with him. I was into this. And I never found out where he was, but come to find out, he was in Omaha, Nebraska with the studio, a beautiful modded E console with everything, all original 1176, everything just, every keyboard, a C3 organ, B3 organ, a tuned Yamaha grand piano, you know, all these instruments. And so I hit him, I'm like, man, look, I'm about to go to Omaha. And my dad had called me, he was doing well, like, well, since you coming out here, because I was gonna record in his house. Yeah. He said, I met a young cat here at the studio, man. You should give him a call.
And what's that dude?
Man, my dad's 74. So I'm like, the cat I'm talking about is 24 years old.
Wow.
And a genius.
Wow.
I'm saying, yeah, I'll give him a call when I can, Dad. And, well, here's his number. Call him right now. You know, my dad, fuck, okay, I'll call him right now.
Right.
Hello? Hey, Rick Carson, man. I was like, I said, this is Terrace Martin. He was like, hey, this me. Instantly, I said, send me pictures of your studio, how many inputs, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yo, bro, you have like Electric Lady in Omaha, Nebraska? So watch this. I flew out 5 musicians, right? Airbnb in Omaha for a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom loft. 3,000 square feet is $100 a night.
Let's go to Omaha.
Right? Food, the grocery store, I cook.
Right.
I flew out all the musicians, you know. We had some other things meet us out there.
That's right. That's right, of course.
Salads and green love and
that's
things.
right, absolutely.
And we stayed for 2 weeks. My dad didn't know the cats I had. They didn't know my dad. I said, look, we're gonna come out here. I looked at the studio. I said, well, even if nobody knows how to work Pro Tools here, they have all the right gear, and I can run the whole session. Show me the patch bay. And Rick ended up being an excellent engineer, and I did my album, Velvet Portraits, in Omaha. But it was the first record I wasn't thinking about how I'm gonna put it out, who's gonna like the record. I was doing this for therapy for my father.
Right.
Because he wanna play.
Wow.
So we gonna play. That, in my family, we don't care about your car, you wanna play? Let's play.
Wow.
You want to argue? Let's play. Wow. So we set up out there, and I was like, okay. I set the drums up. I said, Dad, what drums you want to play? Got the drums out, make sure the mics was right. And Rick Carson, man, he moved to LA. We actually partners in my record label.
Oh, really? Oh,
because
cool.
of this situation.
Wow.
He did so well, you know. But it's a great studio called Make Believe. But I did Velvet Portraits there, came back, and I mixed it here in LA. And I just put it out. I had no idea it was gonna get nominated, and critics was loving it, and you know, it was all these things. And that taught me a lesson though. Like it taught me, because I had just come off To Pimp a Butterfly where it was passion.
Yeah.
But it was like, it was extreme skill level as well.
Yes.
And sometimes skill level gets in the way of the art sometimes.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So us dealing with a room full of great musicians and everybody's not on one accord.
Right, that can be.
But by them being all my friends and dealing with older musicians that are better than me, but them having to listen to me, I was dealing with a lot of things. So I came there, man, we just sat down. I said, well, Dad, what kind of vibe you want to be on? Shit, I don't give a fuck.
Right.
Let's just play some music.
Yep.
So I said, cool, we're gonna write every song right here. And we did it. We spent 2 weeks out there, we did the record, and we came back out here, and it was like, it's a, you know, hey.
It's one of my favorite records of the last 5 years.
Thank you.
Just so
and that's my dad's first time on a record, Grammy nominated.
You're kidding.
You know?
Wow. What
Best
a gift.
R&B album.
Yeah.
Can I just share this with you and then take whatever it's worth? You remind me a lot of a mentor of mine that I got a chance to work with for about 6 years. So I had a chance to work very close with Maurice White from Earth, Fire. And I'm telling you, the stories that he shared with
Wayne
me.
Vaughn's like my father, by the way.
Get out of here, man.
Wanda Vaughn's like my mama, by the way.
God,
Okay?
Man, we may be related.
Okay, you feel me? They had since I was 15.
Oh, get out.
They was the first black family I seen with a Grammy live in the hills. That said, I gotta do this.
Wow.
When I found out he wrote Let's Groove and he put all 4 of his kids through college off of a record, that's when I said I gotta be a producer.
Well, I'm
sorry, go back to your story.
No. But you know, I had a chance to spend, and he was dealing with his challenges at that point in time with Parkinson's, right? He's not, and so he was very circumspect about who he would show that to. So you had to earn trust first to get in that bubble, and then you had to maintain it. But when he opened up and talked about his musical philosophies and how he learned and why he was challenged and where he went, the connection is so similar. So if he was around, he would want me to tell you that.
Man, well,
and
God
I'm
is
just
good. I was trying to get around him.
pass it along. Well, amazing. Chongor,
I'm just inspired.
yeah, Dave and I are just sitting here as fans. I've lost the clock. This is going to be a two-parter. What, you got a couple questions for our guests?
We definitely do. This first one's from our own Cam Johnson. Can you speak on the relationship between jazz and hip hop and what that means to you as a contemporary musician?
Kind of just did.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, we touched on that earlier, but just to make it more direct and clear, it's 2 ways I feel about that. I mean, jazz, you know, jazz just means to me courage. I don't know what kind of music jazz is anymore in my life, because it just means it's another word for courage. Hip hop is another word for courage as well. So I'm saying that to say, the more we, they're the same thing, you know. You listen to a Kendrick Lamar record. You listen to him rap over a song like For Free. You listen to Freddie Hubbard, Red Clay record, and listen to how Freddie plays over I think it's Sweet Soup. This dick ain't free. It's cadences, so it's like you can't. You are ruining yourself, separating these things.
Yeah, 100%.
You're stressing yourself out. It's just stressful, you know. But now somebody else, maybe a more of a cliche jazz musician, will maybe tell you, well, hip hop is this and it's that, and it's no music, it's no harmony, and it's no this, and it's just that, and jazz is a prestigious music, and it's that. He'll say that, you know. But I'll say what I'm going to say.
Right.
It's all the same, you know. It's all the same. Bottom line.
Yep.
It's all the same.
It's only
Do you like
12 notes.
Quincy's correlation between bebop and hip hop?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
And I love how Quincy prefers to where, you know, hey, man, me and Quincy flew me out a couple of years ago to spend a month with Clark Terry when he's passed on now, Clark
right.
Terry. So I spent a lot while with Clark, a couple of months with Clark, and we flew out Snoop Dogg. I recorded Snoop Dogg and Clark Terry. We were trying to do a project. I still had these things, and Quincy was just talking to me. He was talking to Clark. You know, it's talking to Clark, and he was just talking about hip hop and everything. And he was like, "Man, you know, I love all of them, Clark. I love the blues babies, the hip hop babies, the gospel babies, the funk babies, the African babies, the Zulu babies." It was just all these, but it was just all love of, and it just felt like the one common thing he kept saying is that he loves everybody.
Right.
And you know, that was warm. I mean, I always know he's like that, but when you hear these giants say these things and they live these things, it's a different thing, you know. And then by me working with Clark Terry and then Snoop Dogg right there, you know, Clark is asking me, how you gonna record? I said, well, it's a laptop. And he's like, well, how?
Right.
It's a laptop. And he's like, how? And I'm like, okay, I said, I built this setup just for you, Clark. I built it just for you, Mr. Terry. He said, well, how? Laptop. This is when, you know, it was just out the Apollos. Laptop, Apollo. And I bought 2 mics to Noemi. I just came out with those little, what's those mics? What's the little $700?
It's a KM something.
184?
Where are those?
Yeah.
I bought 2 of those out there, you know.
Done.
He said, but how you gonna get my sound in that thing? Then I said, we're just gonna record you.
Amazing.
But Snoop came out, man, it was a beautiful thing with Clark Terry.
Wow.
Quincy Jones, Clark Terry, and Snoop. We
Come
were
on,
in,
man.
not Little Rock, Arkansas, Pine Bluff.
Pine Bluff. That's Arkansas.
We was there, and you know, Clark would, it was deep going back to an artist. Here, this man, 90-something, right? Both legs amputated.
Yeah.
And his wife, God bless her heart, he would he'd stay up middle of the night from years of playing, but she would have to go around the corner and say, ladies and gentlemen, coming to the stage, Clark Terry. And he'd wake up, hey, baby. He'd wake up.
Get his energy on.
Energy up.
That's great.
So before sometime we would record, I'd be like, okay, let's record. He's like, wait a minute, where's your horn at? I'm like, I got my horn. He's like, well, go get your horn. Play a tune. And I play a song I think I know. Like for him, like, I know he loves Duke, so I'd play Perdido.
Right.
Ba-doo-bop, doo-doo-yop, doo-yop, ba-doo-bop. And he's like, you're playing it wrong. It was so cold, because I guess it's hearing or something. He would teach you how to play something, humming it, because of his hearing, maybe like a half step up or a step and a half up.
Yeah.
But in his head, he's hearing it in what he's teaching you, which may be B flat. So you have to quickly transpose as he's teaching you, learn it in the key you know he means for you to be in. It took me, I didn't get it for a while.
Right.
I still ain't got it, you know.
Right.
But when I was getting it, you playing the wrong, imagine you playing the wrong key, you playing it wrong.
Wow.
So you quickly had to, you know, no time to waste. And he'd be like, every note you play should be like a word. Because right now you're playing like da-da-da, 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 da-da-da. These notes have syllables. Da-hoo-wop, 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 da-ee-yop.
Wow.
And when you think about those syllables and you're playing a piano or a guitar or a saxophone, you're thinking about syllables. Those notes sound different when you play them. That's where you get Ben Webster, Lester Young, and Charlie Parker playing so lyrical, and those things, or Jimi Hendrix.
Wow.
You know, you get them playing so lyrical things because those syllables, and he was showing me that in the midst of, I had to do that every night before I recorded him.
Wow.
And him and Stu be rapping back and forth, talking about pimping, all kind of stuff.
Is that right?
Yeah, because him and Quincy said they wrote their first rap in 1920-something.
No joke.
And they spit it to me, and it was a real vulgar one.
Really?
Clark Terry. You know, we just talking. Y'all got to chop this thing.
Can you even follow up, Chomper, with another question?
I got tell me if you think this is accurate. In terms of comparing one type of music to another type of music, it depends on the criteria you use to compare them as to whether you can get the right answer or not. So if you're comparing tempo, timing, these sorts of things, you can divide the world up differently than if you look for feel, vibe, feeling, groove. If you divide music up and judge it by those categories, then you're more likely to understand the essence of each particular musical form and express it in a way that when you master one, you've mastered them all.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Whereas if you're worried about, okay, they put this beat on this and they drop this two back a little bit and they do this and they do that, you'll drive yourself nuts trying to learn different types of music. But in my world, when I mix, I don't mix genre. I mix for feeling and emotion and vibe and for an experience that the listener can have.
Yeah.
I can do that with any kind of music. And I think that's what's
And you've done
missing.
it with every kind of music.
But not that I'm special, but it's just
Yeah, right.
You're special.
Very special.
it's just how you think about dissecting different forms of music. Because somebody like you just play. You don't. I was working with LV one time from Gangster's Paradise, and I was trying to get him to record this note over, and finally he wasn't getting it. I said, LV, you're just not quite getting to the note. And his answer was, it changed my life. He said, Dave, I don't hit notes, I just sing.
I love it. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's how you break down music.
Now, how do you break down batter's box? Are you ready to break? I want you to prepare. Chongor, give us another question.
I'm prepared.
What, you loose?
This is Terrace Martin, boy. I'm
You better
prepared.
be
I studied. I talked to his parents about his weak spots. No, I'm ready.
He may knock you out of the box without even facing the batter.
I'd say that's a high likelihood, but I'm going to go anyway.
Not yet. Chongor, give us another one.
This next one's from Braden Parks. How do you approach the collaborative musical situations that arise in both jazz and hip hop?
How do I approach them? How do I approach a musical? Meaning, if a jazz artist comes to me and wants to work with me, or if a hip hop artist wants to work with me. Great question. Great question. Obviously, I can't go on with YG playing Sonny Stitt.
Right.
You know, obviously that. Well, I mean, by me being a student of music and loving all kinds of music, I'm ready for whatever's coming to me. I can look at YG, I can hear him. I know he's Too Short influenced. I know he's Sugar Free influenced. I know he's DJ Quick influenced by the sounds he likes to use in his music. I know he loves the 808. I could tell by his early records he loves. He doesn't like reverb on the snares. I can just tell these things. I can love, he loves what everybody, oh yeah, that's the mini move. No, he likes the Juno sound. That's not the mini move. Because the early records he loved and he's quoting to me, or what he's listening to now has all these elements, things. So before I get with an artist, I learned this from Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. Snoop took me to Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis spot when they worked with him.
Yeah.
And the first thing they sat back, the flyest thing ever, and I never forget this. And they sat back with a pen and pad and said, at that time, so what's in your CD changer? And how long have these been in? How long have you been listening to these?
Boom. Lightning bolt.
Because if you got 10 discs in the CD changer, right, you're always everybody's gonna have at least one record where it's their point of direction, which means their favorite thing they start from. Because you have options, and as creators, we have to listen to everything. So you got two of the shit that you gotta listen to. In case that gig come up.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Then you got the other one, you know, so I learned to really to sit back with the artist and just, when I get called, we wanna work with Terrace, I always, I let them talk a lot, because I gotta get into their thing, to their space.
I got a question real quick. I've been trying to reach out to Quick, because Quick is one of my favorites. I've worked with him a few times in the past, and he's one of the few people that brought me something to mix, and I said, I can't improve it.
Wow.
You know, it's perfect. And he's somebody I have a great respect for. I always wanted to get him on the show, but I just
I'll call him tonight and I'll hook you up.
Yeah, please do. Just give him my info.
Yeah, do a group there, that's it.
I really like him a lot.
Yeah.
He's the real deal.
He's another one that I always say, like,
he's so...
we need to honor him.
He's so part of the foundation of everything we do and never gets the credit.
And the music.
But let me tell you, for hip-hop, what he did. And for hip-hop, what he did, it was already, you know, producer was mixing their own little thing, mixing. But he brought to me into hip-hop as a producer and artist the high skill level to everything. He has a feel and he can explain things. And I'm also into that as well. You know, I'm into the natural thing, because I'm natural. But I'm also into studying and knowing why you did that. If you can't explain it, you can't explain it. I'm cool with that.
Right,
But if you can explain it, I just want to know.
Right.
Because I may want to steal your shit.
Yeah, we were going to go down that path in a minute. So let's do batter's box.
Okay.
All right, so you ready?
Yeah.
Loosen up. 1 word, 2 word answers. You ready? You got
Ready?
your fastball ready? You got your bat up?
Okay.
Pitch.
Piano.
Poisondorfer.
Ooh.
Loops.
James Brown.
808s.
TR.
He's got bat speed, Dave. He's got bat speed.
Oh, I got tricks for him.
Okay.
Alto or tenor?
Alto.
Ooh.
Wrong answer. Kind of blue favorite things?
Everything's.
Vocals.
SM7.
Condoms.
Magnums.
No other answer.
Bastard.
It's not Dave's answer.
You told him, didn't you, Herb?
No.
Drum machines.
We're having a moment.
NBC 3000.
Strings.
Reggie Andrews.
Ooh. Synthesizers.
OB8.
If your studio caught fire, forget your hard drives, your computer, all that, what piece of gear would you rescue?
My 2 original Blackface 1176 limiters.
He's good, Herb.
Look, the bat speed was evident. He also had base speed.
Here, man, have a cup.
Than't you, man. I was gonna say I gotta get one of these cups, man.
We got a cap for you. We got a lot
Cool.
of stuff
Thank
for
you,
you.
man.
So,
Do people normally are slow on that?
Yeah.
yeah, there's some.
yeah?
There's some. There are others like you that, but, you know, this was extreme bat speed. There was a lot of,
That was fun. That was fun.
Yeah, he could have
Have
stolen
you noticed?
home.
Have you noticed you can be in a bad mood and you look at that face and the world seems okay.
Well, I was going to say, that was part of my segue, which is because there's certain times we do shows where Dave and I are just here as fans. You know, like, you know how when you're creating and it's just working and you're not even present. That's what it is when we have a great guest. And that's why this is running so long.
It's all good, man. We
Because,
here.
trust me, this, you know, we'd have been out of here 35 minutes
Hey,
ago.
I was waiting for the call. You see, I pulled up.
no,
I was
you
waiting
did.
for the call, Dave. I was waiting for the call.
And-
Man,
and-
I told I forgot the young cat you introduced me to at your studio.
Was it Orlando?
I can't remember who was there with us that day.
Young black kid, engineer. You introduced me to him. I saw him, anyway, I saw him, and I was like, yo, tell Dave what's up with his show. I'm not talking about a bar, son. If I said it like that,
Right.
tell Dave what's up with his show.
Yeah, that's a call to action.
Well, you don't have a phone number.
Oh, yeah, I know. But you know,
This
it was
thing called cell phones.
it was probably more the vibe. I want everybody to know I knew Dave from Chicago. Yeah,
I
you
do
know.
that
funny.
too. Sid.
You're funny.
So here, please tell me, I hope this answer is affirmative. Education, important?
Very.
You teach often or speak at places?
Very, yeah, a lot.
If-
I just did at the NYU for the Clive
Davis School? Because we do a lot of seminars and things around the country and sometimes out of the country. And if we were to reach out for you and make sure that it
Let's
doesn't
go.
interfere with you as a dad,
Let's go.
because people will freak out if you're on our panels.
Well, let's
And-
go.
And we get like 1,000 people show up. and-
Event. Well, you know, and also just talking in general.
Sure.
Me and my sister Wyan Vaughn, which is Wayne Vaughn.
yeah.
We've developed our own curriculum that we're
Don't say that word to me.
We're getting real serious with. I'll tell you the name on the show, but it's real serious, and it's not only musical, and it's also it provides a certain level of mentorship and counseling. Because that's the thing with artists. What I wish that when I was in school, elementary,
Yes.
the PE teachers were like the counselors.
Yes.
You know, so you could
Yes.
talk to things and they could kind of guide you through things.
Yes.
So I'll tell you more about what
Well,
in my
that's
head.
what the show has tried to be.
Yeah.
I hate wrapping this up. It's just
know.
it's painful to wrap it up.
I've never seen a pure spirit.
Well, not only that, I'm just mortified at how many times I've been sitting in the studio with Ali.
I
and
walked
he's
past him.
literally
Now, I've
just
seen
been
him.
out in the lobby or in the studio.
Literally just
working.
like zoom, zoom,
Well, we're just
zoom,
going
zoom,
like this.
zoom.
And I'm always going, he's somebody. I need to, and Ali will tell me, and I'll just be in the, so many times.
Especially, you know,
How you? I met you when you were 17, right?
yeah, I was catching the bus up to Enterprise
Yeah.
because Battle Cat was up there.
Battle
Yeah,
Cat.
Battle
Oh,
Cat.
we got to shout out to Battle Cat.
Battle Cat. Man, let me tell you. Let me
Yeah.
just say. Let
Absolutely.
me say a few things about Battle Cat and DJ Quick real fast.
Yes.
Battle Cat is the most honest musician in hip hop I've ever came across.
Really. Wow.
And I only say hip hop because we have to say something.
Yeah.
Because what he does is different. He tunes his instruments to like 442, because that's how he hears. He knows how to scratch on top of the band where it's in the same key. But then the way he's doing that, just goes back to Dave when I was younger, before I was into gear, 17, 18, and Pro Tools was just booming and things were, the Digio One was a big deal.
Right.
People could finally have it in their homes.
Yep.
Battle Cat, I didn't know how to save on my MPC. I had been doing records though, but Snoop, not big ones, but you know.
Yeah, but
I didn't know how to save.
Wow.
So every time I placed a record, they would
That
have to
was it.
call me back in to redo it if they
you
wanted
have
the
to redo it
files.
each time.
Each time. But I used to get off on that because I grew
Yeah.
up looking up the Greg Filling games.
Right, oh, yeah.
Can I recreate my,
Yeah.
you know, it always sounded the same because
Right.
I mean, that is
right.
nothing, man. So, but Battle Cat, man, he said, hey, you don't gotta redo him, man. Let me show you something I saw Dave Pensado do. I was 19 years old, and I remember he said, you got it, because I would have my, at that time, my 1080 with my 3000 with maybe a SE1 and a Trinity, maybe, all into my Behringer 8-channel mixer. Because we thought that was my SSL.
Yeah, absolutely.
Low key, I still believe in the Behringer. And we were running in and stereo out of that into my CD burner. That's how I would give Snoop my beats. So to find a beat, I had to go back and find a CD. So then Pro Tools came out at the home, and Battle Cat taught me, like, yo, you take this one, this stereo mix, you're gonna make this the highs. You're gonna make this the mids, make this the lows, right? So as I got more into nerdy, I started doing all kinds of shit, you know what I'm saying? But those were things that Dave, I've obviously seen Dave do.
Sure.
And Snoop early records, man, after Dr. Dre, anything that we was talking about, Battle Cat and all that, those are stereo mix records.
Really?
Those are stereo mix records. And
It's true.
a story, The Last Meal, you know, from what I heard from this source is that Dr. Dre he's still not in the mixing stereo records. This is the good doctor. He wants the mistakes separate.
Wow.
He wants the air. And he's gonna drive a desk. Don't worry about your outboard. He's gonna drive it. This is what he wants. Battle Cat did a record called We Stay on Point Like Stacey Adams. And it was a stereo mix from his Behringer board. And even they was like, you heard everything.
Wow.
You heard everything. You heard everything, man. Battle Cat was the master of the 808 with the bass line and it being in tune. And even if, you know, and then I got with Quick at like 22. And then it was like, oh God, because he was the guy that would damn near tune each 808, each bar to match the note of the bass drum. And, you know, but Battle Cat is like a science. He's like a natural, in the woods, he would be okay. DJ Quick is like literally what he calls himself, the mad science, and DJ Quick is the only professor I've ever had in my life.
You know what would be fun is maybe have them both on the same show.
Well, you should, because
That'd be kind of fun. They get along
have
still?
you
Let me,
back, too.
of course, I'm gonna tell you this. Quick's early drum sounds from the first record Tonight were given to him from Battle Cat.
Really?
A lot of them sounds.
Wow.
So Quick would being a blood in the 80s, walk over in a Crip neighborhood to pick up sounds for that SP1200.
You're kidding
Fast
me.
forward, me and Quick got real close. I was in my 20s, I stayed with him and studied with him, and he's still my hero. But he taught me some things that when the music industry was going weird, because I was able to mix a record and talk the language and go to New York, and if I got to work at Sean King and do this just to be a mix engineer, not paid for my creative nothing.
Right.
I was able to feed my family because what Quick taught me, Quick let me borrow his SP1200 and bought his floppies and said, how many producers could do this? And put in a floppy and went, and all his records from the breakdowns and everything just, and I said, you played the bass on this? You know what I'm saying? And because of Quick is why I'm a fan of like the Groove Tube Vipery.
Yeah.
The TL Audio used to make an 8-channel tube bus board that we still put drums through, a little noisy, but certain things like, you know, the C800G, like certain things because of Quick are the 60s. Certain things because of Quick taught me, those are still my fundamentals, how I drive a desk to this day. When I go into a room to this day, those are still, I did a thing on Instagram, a funny thing where where I was mixing a record. Like the Pips say, we want something like, they always say, we want something like this, and it's never like what they describe, and it's okay with me. But I couldn't get the kick drum, right? So I bought everything. I didn't want to mess up the sound, so I said, okay, let's try these transient designers. So I'm going through them, okay, at a point. What would Quick do? At a point, oh, the DBX 160. DJ Quick.
Boom.
With the Poltec, 30 cycles. Let me knock this out the box in 5 minutes. So Quick taught me these templates that just work.
Wow.
Yeah.
With outboard gear. And
Wow.
Battle Cat taught me how to get in the studio like a musician and use the force, I call it. And use the artist's emotions and a Buddhist teaching is you can find beauty within every problem. Battle Cat taught me that before I even knew what that was. So Battle Cat taught me how to drive a room. If it's negative, get the negative out and drive a room. Quick taught me how to talk amongst my peers who I wanted to be like at the time, which was like Jimmy Douglas, Tony Maserati, Dave Pensado, our Dr. Dre, these things were these languages that I'm a gearhead. Like when I first got money, I didn't buy chains.
Right, right.
My friend, I caught the bus to it used to be a place called Black Market.
Yeah.
And
on Cahuenga.
Superfly wrote me a check for $10,000, my first ever check. I spent $9,000 of that money. I didn't even have a place, a mic, or nothing. I bought a 1073. I didn't even have a place to put nothing.
They sold used gear right up from Beverly Center.
Remember that?
Yeah.
And then I started buying
Dexter
guitars.
Simmons and I used to go there all the time.
I would go in there, and I would look at the back of records and say, what is this, a Mutron biphase pedal? Catch the bus up the Black Market. Hey, what's a Mutron biphase pedal?
Wow.
Wait a minute, but what is the difference between the biphase and this regular phaser?
Right.
Wait a minute, so Steely Dan didn't use that? They used the MX.
Gotta have it.
I mean, these are things that Quick really turned me on to like.
Wow.
And we are Steely Dan fans.
Oh,
we're
yeah, me too.
we're Izzy fans,
Oh,
and
yes.
we're not just mix engineer fans, we're
Right.
tracking engineer fans.
Right, absolutely.
I'm actually kind of more of a tracking engineer fan than the mix engineer fan for me, depending on who you are.
Sure.
You know?
I agree.
So that's just Quick taught me. I just wanted to talk about because those two don't get enough mention in the world of, because before I met a Quincy anybody, my Quincy and Herbie and everybody was DJ Quick and Battle Cat.
One last question, and then I'll let you go. Please don't get sick of us calling.
Oh, come on, man.
We got stuff to do.
Because when I bring Quick in here,
Okay.
this show and Cat,
Yeah. Oh,
First
it's
of
gonna go
all-
a whole other level.
just get your pillow out.
Yeah, because we're gonna go.
Because y'all gonna go.
We're gonna do a
Battle
series.
Cat, just to wind this up, there's a lot of people that popularized what's called the West Coast sound, but Battle Cat was at the foundation in the trenches early
Yeah.
on, and could be said that he's the architect of the West Coast sound.
I'll say it for me. I'll say it. And this is my opinion. I could be wrong. But the first hip hop record I heard breathe with space in between the instruments came from no other than Battle Cat. The first record I heard a man sequence but felt like it was live instrumentation, because the way he would sequence on the NP where he would play down the bass 16 bars and then punch in 2 bars and make it different at the end of the 24-bar
I
phrase.
don't think he quantized either.
And the whole thing with if he did quantize, he was the master of the shift on the 3000, or the bass drum would be on 7. Now, the first person I seen use a drum machine just like a blues guitarist would bend a note,
Wow.
and his music feel like that, and there's no other. We could it was Battle Cat, man.
It's amazing.
Where it made me like, is that live? Is that to the point when he plays key bass now, he's still the best. You know, but the drums and making the drums feel, he's the first one I ever heard make in my life and amongst any my heroes, make a sequencer feel like it had a heart.
And a good dude.
And a good dude.
Dave, take us home.
Well, what does that say?
I don't know because I can't read your writing.
Beauty in every problem.
One of the things he said.
Yeah, no, that was going to be my closing. So let's close together. There were so many things that you said that I found inspirational. I want to share this with you guys because I think this kind of got me through some rough times. Beauty in every problem. When you wake up, you look forward to solving problems because of your approach, that you find the beauty in the problem. Can you expand on that and take us out and just say goodbye to the folks?
Okay.
Take your time.
You can find beauty within every problem. So one of the things I like to give reference to is the one thing you know about challenges and change is that You're conscious that, and that you're alive. And if you're alive, you have action to do what you didn't do correct the other day, right that day. Because one day you're not gonna have another chance. And wherever you go, you go. I don't get into that, but that's what I mean by you can find beauty within every problem, where don't look at the outlook where I'm going through financial problems, nobody's hearing my music, I'm losing my relationship, I'm losing my home, I'm losing my car, I'm not getting called by this, I'm not accepted by my peers, I'm not wanted, I'm not needed, I'm not loved. And take all that and say, well, what am I? The fact that I could even speak these things and say these things, that means I'm loved by a much higher power than any human being. And to have faith in the things that make me happy. And even sometimes you gotta look at the dark things too, because without dark, you don't understand light. And it's a balance. We all have dark and light in us. Nobody's a fully angel, and nobody's controlled by the dark side all the way, but you have two things. So the fact that you have these two things going together, those are inside you, that means your heart is moving. And once you don't feel that, and you look up, and you see Prince do a concert, you got a fucking issue.
It's
Thank
over.
you.